Glenn Parker High Vibration Foundation. So I wanted to do a follow-up video to the critical message from Bashar yesterday for a couple different reasons. One, well, I'd have a whole bunch of good feedback on that, but that's irrelevant to the message that I'm sending today, but thank you. Number two is I had in June, late May, June, yeah, right around there, early June, late May, went on an absolute rampage of getting rid of old stuff and destroying anything electronically that I didn't think that I should have because I hadn't bought it. And that would include music and videos and a lot of, Bashar stuff and, things from other channels perhaps that I downloaded from YouTube or whatnot that were there to be of service and to be used, but the use license is you should be watching it on YouTube, not to download and to have locally. That's a little different idea. So I get rid of I've got tons and tons and tons of terabyte of stuff at least, and then old stuff and pictures and things like that. So pictures of old lovers and things like that, naughty pictures in there too. So I'm like, I don't want to be energetically corded with these people anymore. The people that weren't that I thought energetically were appropriate for me anymore. So I ran them through electronic shredder. I actually just didn't delete them. They are like history. They are electronic dust at this point in time. Irretrievable by even somebody like me, which is really good at retrieving data because I've done it for 25 years. Deleted in a way that they are gone. So what is Glenn trying to tell you? Last night I went through again, and I went through another cycle, and I was really diligent with this new message and this new idea of being within your integrity and honoring the laws that they're within the collective agreement. So I'm looking and looking, and I found some other things under music that I had missed, that were things that I had downloaded from YouTube or whatnot, that were from channels that are open channels that, that don't mind these types of ideas. I'm like, well, I don't think that's representative. I think that should be watched on YouTube. So I went and deleted those too. And I had a couple other Bashar things, and I deleted those as well. And I also have, it was like, the sacred circuitry or something else that was done by somebody else that wasn't from Bashar Communication. So I wiped that. But I was looking at the Bashar items I had, and I had wiped all the videos out, and I found some other stuff. I'm like, oh, that doesn't belong either. And so out of the ones I kept, there was one that I'm like, thought I bought that one. I'm looking for receipts, and I can't find receipts for any of them. So I write Bashar Communications, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to figure out what I should have and what I shouldn't have. I'm waiting for a reply for that. But last night when I went, and the reason I'm doing this video is when I wiped everything and I was done, I was in the kitchen and I was making, the nightly type of thing that I make, which is like a shake, like spinach and apples and all this stuff, and throw some lemons in there. All at once, I had experience of unconditional love that was so epic that I had one from Adronis about 1.5 years ago that I had to sit and do heavy breathing when I was trying to make a heavier connection with him. And this one I wasn't anywhere where I could have gone and sat. I couldn't move. I was just standing there, breathing, and there was so much unconditional love coming through, and it was in this idea of having done the purge and being in alignment with my true and natural self. And it's not necessarily Bashar, it's not necessarily Adronis. It is energetically representative of the idea of being in alignment with your true and natural self. Now, you wouldn't want these types of things on your hard drive. You wouldn't want to entertain these types of ideas of having things that aren't within the boundaries of the agreements that you have collectively. And I also went ahead and, in the idea and the spirit of evening out the energy of something that might be out of balance in this idea of copyright and energetic exchange, I went and made a $10 donation to Bashar Communications. And when I first came across Bashar, I spent like a month on YouTube, and back in the day there was all kinds of stuff on there. And that's not the idea that, that's not the spirit of the material. And Bashar is saying that it energetically changes the message of the material because you're breaching an agreement collectively, and the person posting it and you are breaching that agreement collectively. So you've now energetically tweaked the material, and it's not within the same timing, and there's all these other ideas that come through. So that's what I've done. I'm not challenging you to do the same thing. I'm not suggesting you do the same thing, but you need to examine what you have and where you are energetically and see if there's maybe some tweaking that might need to be done. So I am within the spirit and idea of honoring these types of arrangements, all these arrangements, not just copyright, but all of them, in the idea of making a collective change and building new systems so that when the old ones no longer serve us, they can fall to the wayside and have new energetic systems in place. And that's why I made the foundation, and that's why I do the things I do and make these videos, is to give you, the watcher, as much of a chance as possible to make those choices. And I still love you unconditionally either way. Within this idea, it doesn't matter which direction you take. You're still an aspect of all that is, another fractal of me as I am a fractal of you. So it's all good. It doesn't matter. But if you want to be within the spirit and the idea of first contact, explicitly in this message it said that everybody is going to experience first contact. It's going to happen. But if you're not energetically within that idea of being within the context of being able to present yourself to an holistic being, you wouldn't be within the frequency range of being able to do that without, owie, and popping out of your existence. So this is energetically within the idea of having first contact and contact within yourself of your full consciousness and being pulled back together as a full holistic being. The holistic being wouldn't be afraid of having these types of materials, in that it would know if it needed them, it would come within the timing, and if it was money in the idea that you needed to get those materials, it would be there. If it was a gift from someone, or if it just showed up when it needed to show up, that is how it works. So letting go and letting go. So what I'm saying is, by letting go of these ideas and energetically being within the spirit of these ideas, unconditional love is, I can just feel it up my spine and in my neck. It's now the thing that made the very first time I had this type of energy come through was the very beginning of 2013, and it was just a fraction. And now what's sustained almost every single moment is that feeling and more. So it is growing, and it grew considerably when I actually went into the spirit of this idea and this message that was sent. And why wouldn't it? Because the message is, in my personal opinion, very sound. And I have copyright material that I sell, photography, and I've been working on a couple films, one short film and one feature film. Short films to launch the feature film. So kind of like an advertisement for the feature film. And it should be within the spirit of this idea. It is a collective agreement. I wouldn't want all my stuff copied everywhere and people using it without honoring the idea of, if I wanted to give it to you, that's my choice. So you're breaching the choice of the individual when you're taking this type of material, any type of material, whether it's music or anything, or pictures, or downloading something from the internet like a movie or something like that. I also watched The King's Men, and I had downloaded it. And I had gotten out of that idea a couple months ago, but it wasn't on Netflix or anything, and I really wanted to see it, so I had. And I went on to eBay yesterday and bought a Blu-ray version of that because I freaking love that movie. It's like, that is my sense of humor, that movie, the types of humor that was in there, that is my sense of humor. So to honor the spirit of that agreement, I had watched it, and so I bought the Blu-ray, so I got a digital copy, and I have a hard copy that I can throw on my DVD and my Blu-ray player. So, and I'm starting to do that for other things as well. That's going to be the de facto. Everything that I'm going to have is going to be physical items, and we'll be honoring that type of idea. So come with me into the collective, into the group agreement that actually is of the spirit of this idea, and let's all come together in that contact point, because that contact point, the first contact point, is the agreement with your holistic self, and you're just starting to remember that. So this agreement to come together as a collective and for you to integrate as a unified being, that agreement to meet you for other beings that are coming for first contact and contact with your own holistic self, that agreement has to be honored, just like any other agreement. For a twin flame or to have a child, you have to be in the energetic eddy that you have an agreement with that child. So people that are trying to get pregnant, they're not quite within the agreement of getting a child yet. And if you're ever not realizing your twin flame, then you're not within the energetic agreements that you're realizing that. So this is the same type of agreement. This is the same type of idea. It will energetically align you with your higher self to make you a whole holistic being and to give you the most possibility to be able to have the experience of first contact in this lifetime. Because that's not a guarantee. And Bashar said this is the only time this message is going to be delivered. So this is theoretically your only opportunity in this energetic eddy, because this is 2005, the end of 4 more years before 2020. That is the divergence of the 2 lines in the idea of divergent parallel realities. You will become so far energetically away at this point in time, if you don't absorb this idea and exercise it in your life, that you will not be within the energetic agreement, in the group agreement, that when 2020 comes, to have the experience of first contact in the future. So that's my personal opinion. That's how I understand it. And I send this message to invite you to come with those that are making the most... I'm making the largest gesture I know how, and I've cleaned out my life as I know how. I have nothing. Nothing. I have that one item that I'm not sure of, and I asked Bashar Communications to check my receipt record to make sure that I should have that. And if I don't, and if they can't check, then to be safe, I'll delete it. Or rebuy it. So everything else is gone. I have to go through a couple other little things. I went through my Dropbox account. I went through everything. It's gone. So, and I shredded it too. It was like bzzz. I went through the electronic shredder. It is now dust, electronic dust, so to speak. So that's as much as I am committing to this idea, and that I agree with this idea, and the energetics that came through after I did this is just freaking amazing. So I am very much suggesting to be within that type of eddy and that idea. Thank you very much. Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation, Coaching Life, Business, and Spiritual. Always tons of stuff going on down below, boys and girls, in the description. I just added retreats and all these other things. The next video is on retreats. Ooh, sweet. And, if you do like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Yay!